ask you a favor. Name your favorite movie. Or movies, plural, if you can't make up your mind. No judgments. Personally, mine are Pulp Fiction, Blue is the Warmest Color, or Snatch, depending on how I feel. So, what's on in the ways of more recent movies? Most are reboots, like Mad Max, adaptations, like Victor Frankenstein, which, side rant, it's Frankenstein, not Frankenstein, you stupid. Or sequels, like the Star Wars trilogies. But why is this? Well, you may look at it as a complete lack of creativity from the directors or the film studios, but what if it's not? For one, ideas in Hollywood, as in pretty much anywhere else, are finite, and therefore movies may seem like copies of another. Now I'm going to just give you a few plots off the top of my head. They are incredibly vague, and just tell me if they seem a little familiar. Okay, a mild-mannered man discovers that he has incredible superpowers. A parent and their child traverse a very hostile landscape, both literally and metaphorically. A couple comes together in a time where the fact they are of the same gender or sexual orientation is unfavorable. A circle jerk of a scholar's theory on what a hero is. For some, they are just the same movie twice, and this is called a reboot. In reboots, you could just say it's a director wanting to put their own spin on a movie without worrying about having to look back on years of franchise. When the remake of RoboCop came out, for example, the new director and the studio didn't want to make a sequel and worry about, did RoboCop do this? Did RoboCop do that? Will this make the story make sense? Will there be plot holes? Will it even be any good? The answer was no, before you ask. But after that idea came to mind, they wanted to make a movie with their own style. Make RoboCop look sleek and aerodynamic and futuristic, not just like a guy in clunky plastic armor. The same with Jurassic World. Make the dinosaurs look a little bit shinier and nicer, and make the park seem like a new and exciting place to be, not just a wild safari with the wild Tyrannosaurus Rex, or the Stegosaurus, or the mighty Triceratops. But that's just reboots. Sequels are just as hated, and granted, I find sequels to Zoolander and the 50 billion Avatar movies we're going to get, yeah, seriously, we're going to get 3 more Avatar movies. So you have something to look forward to. And think they are the biggest waste of time since the internet porn was invented. But sometimes people just want more of their favorite movies without having to watch the same movie over and over and over again. And I can't really think of any other logical reasons why sequels coming out 10 to 15 years after the original is a good thing. So let's move on. Finally comes adaptations. I say that adaptations are just as creative as original stories. When a director or a producer look at a book like Dracula or The Godfather and say, I want to make this in the form of my own imagination, you better give those guys a medal. Because making an adaptation and making it good is hard. First of all, you need to choose the best cast. Make sure your characters look like what most people picture when they read the printed word. For example, when I slogged through The Hunger Games, and I'm talking about the first book, because I could not go to the second one, I pictured Katniss, average height, brunette, strong, yet hot, but not exactly Audrey Hepburn. And then we got Jennifer Lawrence, which, hey, I don't watch the movies, and I still think that's a pretty good casting choice. Or hell, let's look at something a bit more recent, like Room.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
No. Not that one. Okay, there we go. Now, it may not be the biggest thing in the flashiest movie like Twilight or Hunger Games or Mad Max, but it's still a pretty damn good read. When I read it, I thought Ma is a woman that is young but humble looking. Not exactly a 10, if you get my drift. And her son Jack is young and naive because, hey, he's been living his entire life in one room. Literally. So when I saw the cast, I thought, hey, That's a pretty good choice. So how about story? Story's important. You can take a slight turn and go on a route that's similar but not exactly the same. Change a character here or there. Alter a path that the character goes on a little. Switch up the antagonists once or twice, and you got yourself a pretty good movie. Now, before I go any farther, I know there are movies like Dracula Untold that just suck to high heaven, or any Frankenstein movie which no one will ever understand the delicacy of Mary Shelley's book. And World War Z had absolutely nothing to do with the book, which was amazing, may I add. So when you think movies are being uninventive and uncreative and dull, just remember it's a bit more creative than you initially think. Unless it comes from M. Night Shyamalan. Then it is just a tool for torture, only to be used on murderers, child molesters, and people who talk at movie theaters.